Oh yeah, this is where we left off. Yes. Hey! Oh my god, guys, you're already there. Hey Chidorin, hey Desalane, hey Bear, I know you're there too. Somewhere. In 3, 2, 1. Bear's gonna say something. Alright. Everything looks good. I hope sound, everything, yeah, okay. Let go.
よし。これにてグレーテルとやらの自己紹介も十分であろう。さあさあ思い出してごらんなさい。10月4日に何があったのか。
Hey Iris Moth, how's it going?
Your recognition on
第4のゲームの幕開けであるぞ。
Oh, Desalane, thank you so much for the resub. That's so sweet of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, we are starting the fourth game, sure. In unison with her voice, the clock, which had been turned back to October 4th, 1986, started to move, as though blown by a suddenly raging storm. While we remained in the witch's tea room, the blue-grey sea and the green Rokkenjima spread out beneath us, and we could see the boat heading there, trailing awake behind it. The sky was already cloudy, and it seemed that the barrier of the typhoon would soon shut the island away. Hey Bear! Back to the mysterious evil critter battle. Yeah, it seems so. I mean, at least we know it is to be expected, so it's normal by this point. We accept it as part of the whole picture. The boat docked in the harbor, and Goda, hello, he's alive again, who had been waiting there, could be seen helping to unload it. Oh no. Okay. I feel you, and at the same time I don't, Desalane, because I have no idea. So I'm just gonna take it as it comes, as it is. And finally, the boat dropped off all of the passengers and began to separate from the island. The relatives started to get swallowed up by the island.
マリアは相変わらず元気だな。
マリアちゃん、気をつけないと転ぶよ。気をつけて。
落ちる落ちる。沈む沈む。
All my fondly remembered cousins I had loved so much dashed away through the beach, disappearing as they were sucked into the forest path leading to the mansion. Hey, Tostators! Alright, really excited to have you there too. Wow, we're so many. No pressure. And of course, Oni-chan could be seen among them too. Aw, we're narrating from Enja's perspective, that's nice. When she says Oni-chan, I feel this pang in my heart, this like sense of longing, this sense of like battler. I don't know how to describe it, but oh, okay.
待て待てマリアこんなすばしっこいやつめ
I gotta say, I mean, it's not that I didn't like Battler before. I do like him. I've liked him ever since. Close to the beginning, not exactly at the beginning because his humor put me off for a while. But yeah, I've only positive things towards him. But seeing him now, kind of filtered through Enja's perspective and her sense of, again, longing or just her. The bittersweetness of her being reunited with him and like the small glimpse that we saw of their relationship last time, it just, I don't know, it makes my heart grow so much more. Oh, so nice. Maria One-chan, oh wow, it's so weird to think of Maria as an One-chan, but yeah, it's true, because she's technically older. Maria One-chan, who I had loved, dashed away, and Oni-chan chased after her. They were swallowed up by the forest. Following in pursuit, Mom and Dad were also swallowed up. The rest of my relatives were swallowed up too. Swallowed up, leaving only me behind.
バカ。いつまでこんなところで魔女と戯れて遊んでいるのよ。
It becomes even more dramatic because Angel was literally about to jump, and now she can see them like this. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Episode 4 is considered the most emotionally draining. Angel's story is a big part of that. Okay. Well, I am all for emotions, so I'm here. I'm here for it. Let's go.
早く帰ってきてよ、お兄ちゃん。私を一人ぼっちにしないで。そして気がついて、残された私がどれだけ辛く寂しい世界で。
Okay, we're jumping ahead to things. Okay, sure.
ごきげんよう。ごきげんよう。
Interesting uniform. Color is a little bit bland, but the design is cute and looks really nice on her. St. Lucia is an important place in Higurashi as well. Ah, okay. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but okay, St. Lucia. Read profiles. Okay, okay. Already. Profiles already. Human side. Okay. Do I read them all? Are they different? The aged head of the Bushiromiya family, brimming with energy despite being pronounced to have only short time left to live. Amass the vast fortune. Haven't we read this? Strongly influenced by the West and a rabid fan of the occult, his study is spiked with mysterious grimoires. Okay. Enja is not here, so don't read them. Okay. I was looking like, anything new? Maybe not. Okay. Everyone's so excited. Yes, yes, I can see it. I can see it, and at the same time, I can't because I'm all in the dark because I don't know what you're all excited about. But I'm happy to provide at least a pathway towards that. Okay, that's what we're doing. Good day to you is the standard greeting used here. No matter how many years pass by, the style of greeting still feels very awkward. I had responded to the greeting in order to stifle that awkward feeling, but the classmate who had spoken looked at me blankly.
えなになに違うわよね。
Eh? What's wrong? Okay, I'm happy to provide then. Definitely. Also, if there's any need to invite anyone to the Discord, I think we can post a link. Invite people, let me just do that. Invite expires in 1 day. Generate. There you go. There we go. There you go. There we are. Welcome. Haha. Cool. Alright, back to the... I thought NJ and Eva should be there. I guess they are in a different NJ timeline. But okay, yeah, it's fine. No worries. Right, so their choice of words and manner were certainly what you would expect of a school for rich girls. But at their core, they were as innocent and cruel as any children of that age. I love the juxtaposition of innocent and cruel. It's true. Kids can be that way. It seems they found it funny that I'd mistakenly thought the greeting had been directed at me. Oh god, no. Oh. No, it might be the opposite. Maybe I should say that they didn't know what to do after being greeted by an introverted kid like me. Hello, ghost of my past. This is too accurate. No, judging by the looks of my classmates glancing this way over their shoulders and whispering to each other, there were even some who seemed to consider their refreshing morning ruined. I am depressing because no one likes me. So trying not to get in the way of everyone's refreshing morning anymore, I entered the classroom in a low crouch. The true NJ introverted experience. It is incredibly accurate, I can confirm. From my own experience. Almost like I was cutting across the aisle in a movie theater while the movie was running. This is an all-dorm academy called St. Lucia Academy. Correct me if I'm saying that wrong, I don't know how to say it. It's not a school that just anyone can get into simply by passing a test. It's a hidden rich girls' school known only to a select group of celebrities from various circles. For lofty nobles who truly wish their daughters to be brought up like saints. Okay. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that that's not exactly what the school is brewing, not saints, but okay. This is probably the ideal academy in which to protect them from the impurities of the common world. But at the same time, it was probably also a convenient place for nobles to confine daughters who they didn't want the public to know about. Rucia. Okay. It's more or less similar to what I was saying. As well as an academy isolated from the impurities of the common world, it also held excellent potential as a prison school. I was truly among the latter and spent my days confined in St. Lucia Academy. I can't say the R, I'm sorry, it's so weird to me. As the weeks, months, and years dragged on at a mind-numbing pace. Of course, there weren't that many students like me, and you couldn't tell us apart at a glance. However, even if they didn't come forward, you could usually guess from their appearance, because they were always hanging their heads all the time, with an expression on their faces as though the whole world had abandoned them. And every class had one or two kids like that, so even if they didn't speak up about it, you could guess who they were. So, even though I never confessed, I was one of those kids. At some point, everyone in the class knew. Just like how the seriousness of your injury grants you status in a hospital room, here status is granted by the nobility of your birth. Those who aren't permitted to go out in public are probably nothing more than filth to them. They must think that getting involved with students like that would dirty them as well. Whenever such a rumor sprang up about a particular student, those fastidious girls would about face and grow cold in distance, chasing that student out of all possible social groups. I have that to thank for this quiet and solitary school life of mine. Well, that's only if hearing people whisper behind my back, finding my things lost or broken all the time, and having everyone pretend like they don't know anything about it can be called a quiet school life. I must be wearing a wary expression already this morning. I can understand completely why my other classmates who had been enjoying a refreshing morning would want to click their tongues upon seeing it. It's an island country in the Caribbean. Oh, alright. Consciously trying to do my best to avoid tainting my classmates this morning, I quietly took my seat. Then unusually someone came to talk to me. It was the class leader.
ごきげんよう、白宮さん。朝からご機嫌斜めなご様子ね。ちゃんと睡眠は取られてる？
何かご用ですか？
学年発表会のアンケート、まだ提出してないの。後ろ宮さんだけよ。昨日までが提出日だったの。お忘れ？
I'm pretty sure I heard something about that sometime last week, but I think the questionnaire hadn't been passed out yet. All the necessary information would be written on that, so it should have been no problem to forget about it until it was handed out.
アンケート用紙
もらってないですけど。
そんなはずありませんよ。寮長から全員にちゃんと配布されてるはずです。なくしてしまったならそうと素直におっしゃればいいのに。
なくしました。今すぐ書きますから。用紙をいただけますか？
Again. Either someone lost my paper or they intentionally didn't tell me about it. Yeah, I think we're pretty convinced by now that it's the latter. Ugh. The resort Zeku wants to go to, where he can have those cocktails with little umbrellas. Yeah. I think cocktails with little umbrellas would really be needed here to lighten the mood. Non-alcoholic ones, of course. But the umbrellas, you know, and the colors and stuff, those would be nice. But I have no way of knowing who was behind that. In the end, treating it as though it was my own carelessness would settle everything more quickly and without any drama.
書いたらご自身で生徒会室のアンケートポストに投函されるように。うちのクラスだけですよ。夕べまでに全員のが揃わなかったのは。
As I hung my head at the class leader's scolding, I could hear the gigglings and the whispers of people watching coming from no direction in particular. The subtle bullying is so much worse and real than just openly insulting her. Yeah, I know. I'm feeling every single piece of this in my very, very, very bones. I feel it. I've been there. It's not fun. Ushiromiya-san did it again. Because she never concentrates. She is unsuitable for this school. She has neither class nor manners. Sorry girls, but I've dealt with much worse when it comes to unfair personal attacks. Yeah, I mean, if anything, I guess Eva trained her well in that direction. This is so insidious, it really shows how brutal kids can be, yeah. Yeah. I froze my heart and let those arrows of ridicule pass by as I quickly filled out the questionnaire. When I heard the news that Mom, Dad, Oni-chan, and all the rest of my family had died, I was in the house of my grandpa on my mom's side. The only survivor of the accident was Ushiromiya Eva. Only Aunt Eva. Even at the time, I hadn't really liked Aunt Eva. At a glance, she seemed to act kindly to me, but even as young as I was, I could see clearly that she was somehow belittling Dad and the rest, and I didn't like it. Oh, this piano! Oh, it pulls at my heartstrings. So when it was decided that Aunt Eva would take care of me, I was pretty miserable. Why would she be taken care of by her aunt and not by her grandparents? How did it come to that? All the heartstrings would be playing. Oh man. It wouldn't have mattered if my niece... No. It wouldn't have mattered if my nice Uncle Hideyoshi and George Oni-chan could have been there too. But I hated the thought of living all alone with Aunt Eva. I had an honest talk with Grandpa about that, hoping that I could live with him. However, Aunt Eva was very insistent that she should be the one to look after me. Aunt Eva had no desire to remarry, so she said I was essential for the succession of the Ushiromiya family. Aunt Eva felt very strongly about the house of Ushiromiya. She firmly demanded to take charge of me right away so that she could give me an education and lifestyle fitting for the successor. I'm having such a hard time piecing all of these together. Because clearly Eva hated her. Clearly she only left her things to spite her and make her life more miserable. Clearly for all of this time and all of these years, she was haunted by the fact that she worked so hard and she couldn't give it to George. So how does this go hand in hand with that? I'm struggling. Complicated negotiations with lawyers apparently took place, but in the end I was forced to go live with Aunt Eva. After she took me in, Aunt Eva told me something. You must bear all of the glory and history of the Ushiromiya family. And in order to make you a fitting successor to bear that, your life from now on will be dedicated, to studying like hell. Sacrifice the rest of your life for the Ushiromiya family. She was definitive about it. At first I thought she meant exactly what she said, but I quickly realized that wasn't the case. Because even then, in Aunt Eva's eyes, the one most fitting to be successor was George Oni-chan, who had passed away. This is exactly what I've been saying. At my first meal, I was strictly instructed and interrogated about my table manners, and was forced to listen to her disparage mom and dad, as though they had been neglectful in my upbringing. I also received the same strict instructions regarding manners at my first party, and I was insulted in public for my clumsiness and forced to endure insults to mom and dad as well. Wait, how old was she even when this was happening? She was like, what, 6 when the events happened? Like, how old could she possibly have been for this? She was a kid! Hey? 6 years old, yeah, right? So I know my memory is bad, but you know, it's not that bad. I can remember some things. Yeah. After that happened enough times, I finally came to understand. Aunt Eva didn't really want to make me the successor. She thought that the only one who was truly fitting to be the successor was George Oni-chan, and she couldn't forgive the fact that it was going to be me. But, like, she insisted that it was gonna be you, too. We know from Rosa that the Ushiromi education was very strict even when everyone was still very young. I know, but that doesn't excuse it. I still think it's ridiculous. So I was disparaged in front of a lot of people, humiliated, and she made it known far and wide exactly how inferior I was to George Oni-chan. Surely in memory of her dead son. No, she must still have been mourning his death. However, that wasn't something I could endure. I couldn't possibly live together with Aunt Eva. I would be eternally suffocated, continually compared with her dead son. Even as an elementary schooler, I understood that. I ran away from the house of Ushiromiya and tried to go to my grandpa's house. However, Aunt Eva had already foreseen that. No, thinking back on it, she might have been luring me into escaping. No, it doesn't. If anything, it made me feel more sympathetic for the adults too, because they've probably gone through this bullshit too. Yeah, but like, from what I'm piecing together right now, Eva was just... She insisted on having Angel live with her to prepare her to be the successor, just to unleash and project on her all of her frustrations at the death of her son, which, if we're going by the theory that Eva was the perpetrator in the murders, we can put 2 and 2 together, right? Like, it's so... How do I call it? This is not a well-adjusted human being, okay? She's going through bullshit, and she's just projecting all of it on Enji, infinitely. Hoping to what? This is not gonna bring her dead son back. Okay. Right, I was caught by the guards and brought back. And for being a coward who had disgraced the Ushiromiya family crest and attempted to abandon the Ushiromiya name, I was punished in a way that makes my whole body shake and shiver just remembering it. How should I describe what Aunt Eva was like when she punished me? Frenzied? Gleeful? The anger and sadness of losing her beloved son, as well as her hatred and pain towards the fact that I was going to steal the headship her son was meant to inherit. You were not going to steal anything. She put you in this position to... What do you call it when someone is like this? I don't know if I have the proper words. like hot and cold doesn't really hit it. It's a lot more like deeper and more deranged than that. Sadist, I guess, yeah. Okay, she's taking all of her frustrations out on Angie. Oh, you're going to inherit this. I hate you, but I put you in the position to inherit it. She could have just left her live with her grandparents and be like, oh, Angie is the daughter of let's say, like, she could have spun it like, oh, she's the daughter of an outsider from the family and she's not gonna inherit anything. I'm gonna take it to my grave, or I'm gonna appoint another heir. She had the authority to do it, and yet she chose to do this instead, deliberately. Ugh. Bipolar, I mean, yeah, I don't want it to be confused with the mental disorder, right? Because that's very serious and very real. But it's just like swinging from one side to the other, kind of purposefully, kind of to alleviate her own I guess darkness that she fell into. A witch. Good one, Desolate. Good one. And the dark pleasure of being able to let those feelings out on me. Yeah, that's exactly it. I was pummeled with all of those negative emotions at once. Then all of my free time and freedom was taken away, and I was put under round-the-clock surveillance. I may have lived in a gorgeous mansion and been dressed in expensive clothes, but my heart and my dignity were being trampled upon, and I was the Ushiromiya family's slave, its cattle. Compared to that lifestyle, the derisive laughter of my classmates were, here, even felt refreshing. It was no match for my heart. After filling in almost all of the fields of the questionnaire with nothing in particular, I folded it up and put it in my pocket. Because if I left it in the desk, I might lose it again. After dropping it off in the box in the student council room during lunch break, I finished lunch by myself as usual and headed behind the school building where no one was around. Only the time I spent by myself could protect me from the derisive laughter and whispered comments. Since I was hated and didn't have a single friend, my time alone was the most kind to me. Oh. After checking the surrounding bushes to see whether some malicious classmates were hiding and threatening my time of quiet, I finally relaxed the tension from my entire body, knowing that I had gained some true peace. Then I let out a sigh. It lingered heavy, as though it was the first time I had breathed out today. My previous favorite place behind the vegetable garden storehouse had been found out by my classmates, and now they would mess with me there. So this was my new lunchtime hideaway. Yeah, song is really cool. There was nowhere to sit behind the school building. I crouched down against the wall in the shadow of the bushes, opened my bag, and took out a book with an elaborate old-fashioned binding. Just glancing at it, you could probably think it was a religious book written in the Middle Ages or something. But this isn't a book. It's a diary. Of course, it's not my diary. There aren't any special things worth writing about in my daily life. Is it? Okay. Every single day is just grey, cold, and dry. Is it Maria's? Or... When nothing changes from day to day, there aren't any notable changes worth writing down. This is the diary of Maria Onechan. I was right. Yes. Who I had been very good friends with. Magic, you know. She was 3 years older than me and a bit of a funny person, but Onechan was always a warm, wonderful cousin. She would always grab me by the hand and invite me to play some fun game. I remember that getting to see her was the most enjoyable thing about family gatherings. She has a bunch of memories since before she was 6, though. That's interesting. That's very cool. My memories are very, very vague when I was very little. Though I preface this with, for an elementary schooler, the handwriting that greeted me when I opened the diary was fairly accomplished, and while admittedly it had been written using Every other line, the pages were dense with text. Was she just hopelessly obsessed with jotting everything down in her diary? Probably not. To her, writing her daily life down in a diary was probably like having a conversation with another part of herself. Oh, that's such a cool way to put it. It's true. So rather than a journal in which the events of her day were simply listed, Maria Onechan's diary was written like a letter to another Maria, telling her of the events of that day. That's so sweet. I have found this diary among her belongings after her death and had secretly taken it home. At first I had felt that reading someone else's diary might be boorish, and had been satisfied to just keep it by my side, but I was unable to resist turning over a page or two, and slowly but surely I found myself reading through it, I mean, of course. And now, she had become my only friend. My heart. I gently opened to the page with the bookmark.
マリアお姉ちゃん、お待たせ。また、お姉ちゃんのお話を聞かせて。
At the same time, a very, very soft breeze blew, tickling the pages, and I thought the open diary might have sparkled faintly. The weather is good today. Maria Onechan loves wonderful rays of sunlight, so I'm sure she's in a good mood. On the open diary, no, in the world of the diary, Maria Onechan showed herself. Aww. She had been 9, I believe, when she died. Yeah, it's a really good track though. True Pain Begins, let's see. So, her appearance was already younger than mine. But I call her One-chan, and in turn she fondly calls me just Enje.
Oh, Enje, 今日は来るのが遅かった。お昼混んでた？うん。いつも混んでるわ。仲良しグループたちが席を陣取ってる上に、食事を終えた後も席を塞ぎ続けてるから、食堂に行くのが遅くなると致命的ね。今日は片付けの当番だったから。マリア、ご飯食べるの早い。早く食べ終わるとその分いっぱい遊べるな。
Maybe she noticed that I was still bitter about how that duty had been forced upon me, shortening my lunch break by a bit. Maria Onechan brightly changed the subject. Grateful for that consideration, I responded that I eat slowly. Maria said something about how she'd teach me the trick to eating fast, and cheered me up. I read it in the diary. No, I heard it from Maria Onechan. She was once ranked number 1 among the girls on the speed eating leaderboard in her grades newspaper. Oh, that's so sweet. She had been very proud of that, and had apparently been a little disappointed that her mother, Auntie Rosa, hadn't praised her very much for it. This part hit a little too close to home. Most of first few years in college were like this, finding secluded places and reading. Aww. Aww. I feel you. Not for college. I actually was very lucky in college to find a nice, tiny, but nice group of friends. But some earlier periods of my life were the same. So I empathize with it myself. Ah.
じゃあ今日のお話を始めるね。昨日はどこまでお話をしたかな。お？ここまでよ。マリアお姉ちゃんが作太郎をプレゼントしてもらったところまで、作太郎の話を聞かせてくれる約束になってたわ。作太郎のこと話すよ。作太郎はね、とっても可愛いぬいぐるみなの。エンジェもきっと気に入るよ。うん。そのお話を聞かせて。マリアお姉ちゃんにお話を聞かせてもらえる昼休みだけが学校で一番心を許せる時間だもの。マリア話す。作太郎はね、
Watching Maria Onechan, who's always in a good mood, makes my heart feel warm as well. As I listened to her tale, I began to get absorbed into her world.
Happy birthday! マリア、ごめんね。帰りが遅くなって。
Oh, her clothes are so cute!
ママもお仕事お疲れ様。
Ah, that's so cute. Love it. Does that hoodie have bunny ears? Is that what I'm seeing behind her? Oh, that's so cute.
マリア、ママが忙しいの知ってるから、遅くなっても泣かないで待ってた。おとなしくテレビ見て待ってた。
The rare flashback within the flash forward. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit mind-bending when you try to think about it. I'm just rolling with it. It's alright.
マリアは偉いわね。
Aw, is this why Maria likes watching TV so much? Because she knows if she sits quietly and watches TV, at some point her mom will come and things will be alright. Or am I reading into it too much? Oh lord.
お行儀よく待ってたご褒美に、今日は何でも好きなものを注文していいわよ。もちろん、食べきれる分だけだけどね。
今日はコーンスープをオニオングラタンスープに変えてもいい？
ええ、いいわよ。
Never too much. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it would make sense, you know. Kind of ties in my mind a little
200
bit.
円高くなるけど、プロシュートピッツァに変えてもいい？
ええ、いいわよ。本当に食べられるならね。でも、いっか。誕生日だしね。ちゃんとお行儀よく待ってたいい子のマリアにご褒美もないとね。
じゃあ、デザートにエンチェラーダチーズケーキもつけていい？
Enchilada cheesecake. Okay, I don't think I've heard of
あとね、
that.
シェフの気まぐれフ
It's
ル
an
ーツサ
interesting
ラダに
combo.
キッズフライドポテト。メロンソーダも飲みたい。マリアはいい子、マリアはいい子。ママに褒められた。
ちょっとはしゃぎすぎよ。もう少し静かにしないと他のお客さんに迷惑よ。
When Rosa gently admonished her, Maria stuck her tongue out and eased up a little. But it seemed that she was having a hard time repressing her excitement at being able to eat out with her mother again after such a long time. Today was Maria's birthday. Rosa always spent Maria's birthday at a wonderful restaurant. When Maria had still been in kindergarten, they had sometimes invited other kids from the neighborhood over and had the party at home. Rosa would make a wonderful cake and homemade sweets and decorate the house herself, making it a huge celebration. Oh, that's really cool. But after they moved and Maria no longer had any friends in the neighborhood, Rosa had started splurging at expensive restaurants instead. However, today, they were instead in a normal family restaurant. It was also a little late in the day for a kid like Maria to eat there, even with a parent. Rosa had actually gotten reservations at a fantastical place that Maria would absolutely have loved. Of course, she had also prepared a wonderful cake with Maria's name written on it. But Rosa just hadn't been able to finish up her work and had been forced to cancel. Since that had turned into a local family restaurant, Rosa felt a little indebted to Maria. So she was prepared to spoil Maria a bit and let her have whatever she wanted tonight.
マリアお姉ちゃんってあんまり食べないんじゃなかった？こんなに頼んで大丈夫なの？あんまり食べられないけど、いっぱい並ぶのが好きなの。お誕生日のテーブルはね、赤、青、緑に黄色、いっぱい色とりどりだと幸せになれるの。
That's cute.
そうね。お誕生日のテーブルってカラフルだと幸せな気持ちになれるわね。うちの誕生日はマリアお姉ちゃんのところにはだいぶ負けるけど、駅前のケーキ屋さんで買ってくるケーキがいつもとても華やかだったっけ。
Yeah, that I agree with. And it sounds like from the menu they have amazing things, and it's precisely what a kid would need. I don't think like a fancy, upstuck restaurant would have things like that, like colorful and just brimming with playfulness and, you know, whimsical things. And she thought back to her own birthdays nostalgically. Even though Dad was busy, he sometimes came home just to show up at my birthday party, and then went right back to his company. I was sad at the time, but now I understand how important I was to Dad. Of course, Mom also took very good care of me. In particular, she always had a really good sense in birthday presents, and sometimes arranged for them several months in advance. Even though we always sent an invitation to Battler Onichan, he didn't get along with Dad or something, so he didn't always come. So when he did come, I was really happy. The birthday parties, when the whole 4-person family was together, made for fun memories that I will never forget.
おー、レンジのお誕生日もとても楽しそうだね。バトラとルドルフおじさんがすごく賑やか。ワイワイキャッキャ。あ、バトラジュースかけられてる。
Of course he did. Mario Onichan peeked into my happy memory. It's kind of embarrassing looking at myself sitting quietly there, wearing the origami helmet that Dad had made as a party trick. Oh, that's so cute. In my hand was a paper gun that Battler Onichan had folded for me. Everything out of paper. Interesting. And Mom was taking a commemorative photo. I can just picture it in my head. It's so goofy. It was the happiest moment of my life. Aww.
でも、マリアお姉ちゃんの誕生日だって負けてないよ。それで、今日もらえるんでしょ？サク太郎は。うん！すっごく楽しみだった。ママのカバンの脇にあるプレゼントの包みを早く見せてもらえないかなとずっとワクワクしてた。
Sakutaro is the name of the stuffed animal that Maria Onichan was to receive as a present today. For quite a long time, Auntie Rosa had been making a stuffed animal to give to her as a birthday present, and oh, that's so nice, she made it herself. It was apparently to be a cute lion stuffed animal, and Maria Onichan had already given it the name Sakutaro, even though she hadn't received it yet. So cute. Today she was looking forward to meeting Sakutaro even more than celebrating her own birthday. Auntie Rosa ran a clothing design company. It did actually seem to have a brand name too, for what's worth. I think it was just called Auntie Rosa in English? What? Really? The slogan was supposedly, "I can't forgive the way I was before today." Unfortunately, I've never met anyone who knew of that brand name. Maybe it wasn't that famous. In the original translation, it was Auntie Rosa. Huh? That makes even less sense. I don't know. Okay. So in any case, Auntie was pretty skilled with her hands. Rosa best mother. Yeah. Yeah, let's not really go there. I heard that some of the clothing she wears, she made herself. So making a stuffed animal had to be well within her capabilities.
手作りのぬいぐるみなんてちょっと素敵。ところで、サク太郎って名前どういう意味でつけたの？うん。本当はさくらってつけたかった。でもオスライオンのぬいぐるみだから男の子の名前にしなさいって言われたの。だから男の子っぽく太郎を加えてサク太郎。最後の「う」はいつの間にかなくなっちゃった。
Ah, okay.
なんでさくらなの？うん、テレビアニメの主人公の名前。
There was apparently a popular anime at the time whose main character was a girl called Sakura. The fact that she'd simply borrowed the name of a character she liked was, how should I say it, as innocent and cute as you'd expect from her age.
Mama!
Ah, card captor Sakura. Ah, yeah. I was wondering which one. But all the way back in the 80s, was it? Or during that time period? Okay. Okay, everyone got it except me. I don't know why. For some reason, I had thought of Cardcaptor Sakura airing later, like in the 90s. My time frame is not really there.
サクタロまだサクタロも一緒にお誕生日混ぜてあげたい。
I guess for the sake of the story, we can imagine it was. But from the author's perspective, maybe it indeed was a reference to Cardcaptor.
プレゼントはいつも最後でしょ。今広げると汚しちゃうわよ。食事が終わるまで我慢しなさい。
じゃあ早く食事を終わらす。
Yeah, eat all that mountain of food. There is a Toho reference which was made until the late 90s. Okay, I see. So it's just like little Easter eggs, they don't necessarily have to follow the proper timeline. Okay. But my mind didn't go to Cardcaptor because of that. Okay, which anime was popular in the 80s? I was like, I'm kind of blanking out. I don't really know. So that's why I didn't piece it together. As soon as she proclaimed that, she started tearing into her meal. Auntie Rosa scolded her, telling her not to make a scene. It seemed that she had seen it coming immediately. I had been thinking that if I were as straightforward as Maria One-chan, that would probably be exactly what I would do as well. So it brought a kind of warm smile to my face when my expectations weren't betrayed. In the end, Auntie Rosa succumbed to her daughter's eyes, sparkling with anticipation, cleaned up the table, and took out the long-awaited wrapped present. Right, so Rosa's company is Auntie Rosa, and Auntie Rosa is a real clothing company. Interesting. Alright.
ハッピーバースデーマリアなかなか時間が取れなくてあまり上手に作れなかったんだけど。
ママの手作りなら何でも嬉しい。
80s were Dragon Ball, Gundam, Sanseiya, Ranma, that kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't identify anything with a Sakura in it. At least in my mind, but yeah.
サクタロ
Auntie Rosa spoke slightly humbly, but Maria One-chan was ecstatic, even before opening the wrapping. I could really understand that feeling. It's not a matter of quality. Just the fact that it was a handmade present was more pleasing than anything.
開けてもいい？開けてもいい？
本当はお家に帰ってからにしてほしいんだけど、ちょっとだけよ。ちょっと見て挨拶したら一度しまうのよ。ちゃんと挨拶するのはお家に帰ってからにするのよ。ここはお外なんだからはしゃいじゃダメよ。約束できる？
約束する。だから開けてもいい？
Boing boing, like a bunny.
開けてもいい？ママ。
はいはい。ちょっとだけよ。
Before Auntie Rosa finished her sentence, Maria One-chan started unwrapping the present. Aww. Oh, that's so sweet. And straight away, yellow and orange peeked out. I feel like the yellow is a little bit of a reference to Kero-chan as well. Saktaro, yeah. What appeared was a slightly blank-looking stuffed lion with cute round eyes and a cute white chest. It was about the size of a small pillow. It looked pretty big held by a short person like Maria One-chan, but it probably wasn't that large. From the perspective of someone who didn't know better, it would probably look like something cheap bought from a department store or something. But to Maria One-chan, it was her mother's handmade stuffed animal, the only one of its kind in the world, and irreplaceable. Sakucha is here.
Sakutaro! Sakutaro!
Aww, aww, aww. Oh, this is so sweet.
かわいいかわいい、すっごくかわいい。ママありがとう、ママありがとう。お仕事で忙しいのにこんなにかわいいぬいぐるみを作ってくれて本当にありがとう。
Seeing is such an office. Yeah, I've been awing for like a long time already. I'm trying to keep it in a little bit because yeah, I should say something a bit more intelligent than just aw. But it is cute. Sakutaro is so cute, I'd bite him in a heartbeat. Yes. Yes. I approve that message.
そんなに褒められるとかえって恥ずかしいわ。全然時間が取れなくて大したものを作れなかったの。本当は抱えきれないくらい大きなのを作るつもりだったのにね。
これでいい。このくらいの大きさならいつも一緒にいられるもん。一緒にお出かけできるもん。さくたろー、お姉ちゃんだよ。本当に可愛らしいぬいぐるみね。この子がマリアお姉ちゃんの一番のお友達のさくたろうなのね。学校には一緒に行けないけど、お家ではいつも一緒にいる一番のお友達なの。さくたろうはね、とっても無垢で可愛らしくて、そしていつもマリアに優しくしてくれるの。マリアに元気がない時には励ましてくれて、マリアが元気な時は一緒にいっぱい遊んでくれるの。だからマリアはもう寂しくなんかない。ママが仕事で忙しくて一人ぼっちでも寂しくないし、学校で誰も遊んでくれなくても全然寂しくないの。ねえ、さくたろう。うりゅー。
I don't know. I feel like in some ways the sadness in that sentence can slip through the cracks of Maria's excitement. But that was sad. At school, Maria One-chan was in similar circumstances to me. Compared to the other kids in her class, Maria One-chan's tempo was always a beat too slow. Her impressionability and way of thinking about things were a little peculiar, and she was a little too idiosyncratic to blend in with them. Her grades were low as well, and yet she was talkative when it came to her specialist field of the occult, which led to her being treated like a weirdo by everyone else in the class. If she touches you, you'll be cursed, stuff like that. Everyone in the class acted like she was gross, made fun of her, and avoided her it seems. Boys who bumped into Maria One-chan would start wiping that part of them off against the other boys as if they'd gotten something dirty on them. They would pick up her stuff between pinched fingers like it was something filthy and chase the other boys around with it. As for the girls, they appeared to find even speaking to her unpleasant. They ignored her completely, giggling and sneering at her whenever she made a mistake.
いじめっていつの時代も似たようなものなのね。人間ってほんと進化しないの。滅べばいいのに。マリアはいじめられて悲しいけど、でも仕方ないと思うの。仕方ない？どうして？だってクラスには一人いじめられっ子がいないといけないってルールなんだもん。最低なルールね。それを作ったやつの後頭部をレンガで殴ってやりたいわ。もちろん角で。もしもマリアがいなくなったら、きっとマリアの代わりに新しい誰かが新しいいじめられっ子に選ばれる。マリアが我慢することで、マリアはその子をかばってあげられるの。
My heart! What? Aww. As she said that, she smiled faintly. Maria One-chan's way of thinking really is unusual. According to her, there is always a witch residing in the place called school. No, she says that anywhere that a lot of people gather will most certainly have a witch residing there. The witch tries to make the students perish by disease or accident so that she can steal their souls. She sometimes also corrupts the souls, leading them down a path of evil. So far, this isn't the hype episode we were promised. We've been through 3 episodes. We know the length that these things can go to, so we're just barely dipping our toes in the oceans here. I'm aware, we're barely starting. Maria Onechan told me that an angel came, not content to let that happen.
天使様はね、魔女をやっつけようとした。でも魔女は強大で、戦いは7日7番に及んだんだけど、それでも決着しなかった。疲れ切った魔女は休戦しようと言ってこう提案したの。
It's not as hype, but it hits really deep in the feels. It does. This is a pain episode. We serve seagulls crying. Good one, good one. I think this emotional and realistic stuff is right up Nezu's alley. Yes, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Mystery, what murders? This, I'm here for this. To be fair, the more we go through these episodes, the more desensitized I kind of get to the whole mystery, especially when Beatrice keeps throwing all of these like curveballs and wrenches and making it more and more ridiculous in like what she's showing us with like the magic. And I think I kind of lost it somewhere inside of me when towers came out of the earth in her battle with her predecessor, I guess you could call her. I was just like, oh, okay, that battle was just okay, fine, great. But this, yes, I'm all for it. Like my heart, my soul, my everything is connected to what we're seeing right now. The X in when the X cry refers to us, the readers. Never forget the brown tube trial. Yeah, it's alright. I don't forget it. It's just it was just getting so ridiculous that I kind of like distanced myself from it in a way. I wasn't super invested in the mystery from the beginning, but I'm getting less and less the more things evolve in that direction. Magical realism or realistic magic? I don't know what you're connecting it to. Magical realism, realistic magic. I guess I would go for the magical realism if that's if that's what you're asking, in the sense that because Beatrice said realistic. Yeah, I guess she was referencing to you saying that this was realistic. I think it's more like real life themes and issues that humans actually deal with, as opposed to towers sprouting from the ground. And I think that's what you meant when you said that. So that's pretty much where we are right now, and I'm all over this. My heart is here. Let's go. What did the witch propose?
私はこれまでクラスの生徒の半分を病気にしたり怪我をさせたりしてきました。でもその代わりに残りの半分の生徒は病気と怪我から守ってきました。
I had to deal with magical towers just last week. Don't belittle my trauma. Oh, that's Linda. I didn't mean to. My bad. Sorry.
だからもしもクラスの一人を私への生贄にいじめられっ子にしてくれるなら、その他全員の生徒を病気や怪我から守りましょう。だったっけ？
I'm sorry.
おう、
It's so crazy.
天使様は考えたの。
It's such a warped and twisted way to go about it.
クラスの半分が不幸になることに比べたら、クラスの一人だけが不幸になることの方がずっといい。それに魔女はその強力な力で他全員の生徒の安全を守ってくれるという。
クラスに40人の生徒がいるとして、
Can't even get groceries without being shot at by ballista towers. I love your humor, guys. It's amazing. You're amazing.
20人の犠牲者が1人に減って19人が助かるというわけね。実に合理的な提案。
It doesn't work like that. This is ugh. I wonder if this fairy tale has some kind of motif. If it's a creation of Maria Onechan, a 9-year-old girl, that would be pretty impressive. This also takes me... It's completely off topic, but it suddenly makes me think of Kiritsugu and his way of logically approaching the saving of the world and prioritizing saving as many people as possible and so on. We all know where that went. And where that took him and how it coalesced. Yeah? There was a lesson there, and I don't know if there will be one here, but this is just... no. It's how a small child would construct the world around it, isn't it? Which is forcing people to be bullies. That is true, though. Yeah. Yeah. It has this, like, little undertone of, like, I can't believe these people would be this mean by their own volition. There must be something, so... a witch is probably forcing them. That makes it even so much sadder. Oh god. Oh.
天使様はその提案を飲むことにした。だから一人の生贄によって19人は救われた。だからマリアの役割は大切なの。魔女は19人を守ってる。
It's also, I guess in a way, for her to be able to put up with it and to find the strength to face it day in and day out, it has to have a purpose, right? If it has no purpose, if it's just pure meanness and cruelty and coming from places and from people that you can't understand or you can't influence, you can't do anything about it, and it's happening to you for no reason at all, then how can you endure it? Right? You would just get suffocated by despair and frustration. But by assigning it some sort of importance, by feeling like you are fulfilling some sort of greater goal, by allowing yourself to be in that position, then it probably gives you some strength in enduring it. So I can see where she might be coming from on this one. It's still incredibly sad, and it's still twisted, and that's not how the world works. That's the big question, is this healthy or unhealthy? Personally, I think it depends entirely on the individual. Yeah. I think it's also a question, is there any sort of chance of Maria coming open about it and having Rosa take her out of that situation? How realistic would it be for Maria to be taken out of that situation? And also, I mean, she's also a child. Can she even think about the fact that there could be a variant of her life where this doesn't happen? Because if I think back at how I was when I was a kid, I think I just internalized it that, oh, I go to school and this is what happens. I don't think I had it in my mind that there could be an alternative, or that I could be taken out of the situation, or that it could just, things could go in a different way if I were in a different place, in a different class with different people. Probably not. Probably to her, that's just how the world is. So how do you cope with that? You have to find a reason to cope with it. So I think this is more, how do I put it? It's unfair and it's twisted, and the child shouldn't be put in the situation to bear it. But also, if this gets her through the day, and it's what enables her to set it aside and not allow it to get to her, then it is, in a way, healthy for her to think like this, rather than just being thrown into the havoc of despair, right? I get it. I'll soon become a witch myself. I don't know. Bullying is often a problem because children think that they have to endure it because they can't imagine that it could be different. Yeah. Yeah. Like, when I was a kid, I couldn't even imagine that I could actually go to my parents and tell them that that was happening to me. I didn't realize it. I just thought that, okay, this is what my life is, and that's it. She's used to abuse at home as well. She probably doesn't think things can be different or that she deserves them to be different. That part, last part is really, yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head there. That's probably it. All of this is probably laced with that feeling of, like, even if they could be different, she probably wouldn't believe that she could have it. I'm being very proactive. Aww. Oh, thank you, Toast Tethers. That's so nice. I'm just really just speaking what's coming into my mind. Me and Desolane slowly fusing into one person. It's very cool to see. It's very cool to see. So that makes it even more important that there are nets in society who can save these people, but it's difficult, a difficult thing to accomplish or enforce on a nationwide scale. Yes. Yes. It is. I don't know how you would do it on such a large scale. I think it has to start on a smaller one and build up. Like, for instance, if I had a child, I would talk to them openly about these things and try to, you know, be attentive and notice things and, you know, just generally raise them with the sense of, like, they are worthy beings, you know? They are a worthy being, and when something is amiss and they don't feel comfortable about it, they could come talk to me, you know, and we can, like, figure it out. I think the lack of a pathway, or, like, not even envisioning that there is a pathway for communication in this situation is what just leaves these kids in this belief that there's nothing they can do about it. It's really sad, because in extreme situations it can lead to very, very sad and regrettable outcomes, let's say. Rikishi as an ex-social worker is probably very familiar with these scenarios. Yeah, he's very good at it. He said in interviews that he's always grateful and amazed by how much some people work in these fields and really sacrifice a lot to help others, but he also often felt very helpless. Yeah, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. It's very easy to say, oh, I'm just gonna go out today and save the world, and when the kid is suffering, I'm just gonna take them out of the situation and make it better. It's not, it's easy to say that, but it's not really how it happens in real life. And so if he's had this kind of experience, he knows firsthand that you can have the best of intentions, you can want to do, you know, give the world to these people or these kids, and there are circumstances that keep your hands tied sometimes. Sucks. Okay. Right, so the angel decided to accept the proposal, and her role is important, and she's protecting 19 people. Like, the witch is protecting 19 people by sacrificing her.
私たちが生贄になることによって
And there it is.
その19人に感謝された覚えはないけれど
Andrew makes a good point. Maria Onechan's thinking is too compassionate. The miserableness of our situations is very similar. And yet, there's a difference in our inner peace, just because of a small difference in our way of thinking.
それでマリアお姉ちゃんは悲しくないの？
Concept and execution are two very different things, yep.
悲しくなんかないよ。だってこれからはサク太郎が一緒だもんね。サク太郎、うりゅう、マリアと一緒なら僕も元気。
Sector has voice acting.
ほら、サク太郎も元気って言ってるよ。
Maria Onechan held up the Sakutaro stuffed animal, playing both sides of the conversation herself. I don't understand, but that's exactly why I want to reach Maria Onechan's level. It's what makes me so strongly interested in her tale and her words.
エンジェは一人ぼっちだから辛い？
辛いわ。でも、マリアお姉ちゃんとこうしていられる時間だけは別。一人ぼっちじゃないから。
なら、サクタラもお友達になればもっと楽しくなるよ。うん。じゃあ今日からサクタロもエンジェの新しいお友達だよ。ね、サクタロ。フリュー？
He looks very fluff. I gotta give him that.
僕、エンジェのお友達？フリュー、エンジェ
Skillfully moving the stuffed animal like it was a puppet, Maria One-chan made Sakutaro emote. She was controlling him, but the charming way he waved his short hand and cocked his head to the side made it feel like he really was a new friend called Sakutaro. Of course, if you were to look at it with cold eyes, you would only see Maria One-chan comforting mopey old me with a stuffed animal. But that stuffed animal had definitely been imbued with a soul. The soul of Maria One-chan's love. So I accepted the existence of a being called Sakutaro inside that stuffed animal.
ほら、エンジェもサクタロに挨拶して。ほら、サクタロもご挨拶。フリュー？エンジェ、怖い人？
As Sakutaro timidly looked at me, he unexpectedly met my gaze and hid behind Maria One-chan's back in surprise. Maria One-chan really is good at playing with stuffed animals.
大丈夫だよ、サクタロ。エンジェは怖くないよ。とっても優しい女の子だよ。うん。どうも。サクタロウです。ウリュウ。
はじめまして、サクタロウ。エンジェよ。新しいお友達になれて嬉しいわ。
I held out my right hand as though asking for a handshake, and Sakutaro's short hand was stuck out towards me and lightly touched my index finger. After all, the size is all wrong for a handshake between a human and a stuffed animal. This greeting by touching each other's fingers was our handshake.
これでもう、エンジェとサクタロはお友達だよ。一人よりは二人、二人よりは三人の方がもっと楽しいよ。うん。ウリュー。
Maria One-chan had given the name Sakutaro to the stuffed animal she was going to receive on her birthday, and had warmed and expanded his existence in her heart for a long time. Therefore, even before she had met him, his existence had been sublimated into a personality. Aww. From the very first moment they met, the two of them were already friends. Of course, I don't think anything could be as personified and loved as Sakutaro was. But that wasn't anything extraordinary in Maria One-chan's eyes. She loved the things she owned very much, treating them just like friends or beloved pets. Maybe it was partly that Auntie Rosa hadn't let her keep a pet. Or maybe just her innate desire to treat things as though they were precious. Ah, my heart! Maybe it was that she was so isolated that she had been forced to find friends closer to home. Because of all those various circumstances, this wasn't anything extraordinary from her perspective. Yet even so, Sakutaro... No, maybe I should call him Sakutaro like... I have to figure out my O at the end there. Because I keep saying Sakutaro, but I think that's wrong. I should say Sakutaro. Like that? It should be shorter. Fuck, I don't know. I haven't taken professional Japanese pronunciation classes. Things sound good in my head, but not that good when I put my tongue around them, okay? So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I digress. Let's move on. It was certain that Sakutaro was a stuffed animal. No, a friend who was more loved than anything or anyone.
もしもし、ママよ。上機嫌ね。お友達が来てるの？
Alright. You mean in your language you have a sound that's similar to that, so you can relate to it? Is that what you're saying, children?
サクタロと遊んでるの。
Saktaro. Okay.
サクタロったらね。
It was already past 9 at night. Rosa had asked out of surprise, since this wasn't an appropriate time for a friend to be over. Maria herself doesn't care about the O, so it's fine. It's the exact same and it makes pronunciation very easy. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I also do have some sounds in Romanian that are helpful when learning Japanese. Extended vowels is not one. But it's fine. Right. As our surprise, since this wasn't the appropriate time for a friend to be over, but when she thought about it, Maria didn't have any friends who would come over to play, did she? Even so, to think that she would have so much fun playing with that stuffed animal. Rosa was very pleased that Maria had liked her birthday present so much.
ごめんね。ママ、どうしても仕事が片付かなくて、来期のラインナップが難航してるの。ようやく少しずつ注目され始めたみたいで、なんとかここで期待に応えられるインパクトを与えたいのよ。
今夜もお泊まり？いいよ。頑張ってママ。
そうありがとうねマリア。ママのお仕事のことを分かってくれて。
Rosa was very surprised that Maria had accepted with such indifference that she couldn't come home. Telling Maria that she would be coming home late or staying overnight had been a heavy burden for Rosa. Maria would start crying about how lonely she was on the other end of the phone, and it took a lot of time and effort to calm her down. To think that Maria would accept it in such high spirits. Is this also thanks to Saktaro? Rosa was once again pleased that she had given such a good present.
明日のこの時間には帰れるようにするわ。明日は一緒に夕食をとりましょう。マリアは夕食はまだよね。コンビニでお弁当を買ってきて食べてね。お菓子はダメよ。ジュースもダメよ。お釣りと一緒にレシートも入れておくのよ。
サクタロとお買い物。サクタロとお買い物。
こら、サクタロはダメよ。お留守番させなさい。
From Maria's manner of speech, Rosa got the feeling that Maria had been going shopping with a stuffed animal without her knowing about it. Rosa's forehead creased, and after sourly telling Maria that she was absolutely not to, she hung up.
Oh,
so much cuteness in this room. I'm gonna explode. The kitty in the basket. Do you see the kitty in the basket and behind Maria? Oh, that's so adorable. And the lollipops and the dangos, kinda. The heart pillow. The gigantic penguin. Yeah, everything. Several pumpkins, of course. So cute. So cute.
サクタロとお買い物ダメだってママに言われた。ウリュウ、マリアとお買い物に行けない。一人でお留守番、寂しい。なんでママ、サクタロとお買い物行っちゃダメなんて言うんだろう。ウリュウ、きっと僕がマリアと一緒にいるのを見られると恥ずかしいんだよ。恥ずかしい？なんで？ママはよく僕を外に連れて行っちゃいけないって言うし、マリアのことをよくもう何歳になったんだからダメとかそういう言い方をするし。
My eyes were taken by the cuteness. I'll look again if we see it again.
マリアはサクタロと一緒で全然恥ずかしくないよ。僕はライオンだけど、ぬいぐるみだし。ライオンでぬいぐるみだけど、マリアのお友達だよ。だから一緒にお出かけしよう。ママがいない時だけ内緒で。ひょっとしてサクタロも恥ずかしい？僕は恥ずかしくないけど、ウリュウ、ちょっとお外の人が怖い。そっか。
Yeah. To the side there, yeah. I was... Oh, now we can actually see the kitty much better. It's not obstructed by Maria. It's so cute! So cute. Everything is so cute. There's like even a panda in the bottom left corner. It's so cute.
じゃあ、サクタロが怖くなくて、一緒にお出かけできるようにする。マリアに任せて。便利なのがあるの。
Maria started fishing around her messy room. Oh! Rosa often told her to clean it up, but she was just bad at cleaning up her room. It looks very tidy to me. However, she knew more or less where everything was. I was the same when I was little. My stuff was scattered, but I knew exactly where everything was. So much so that whenever Rosa would take it upon herself to tidy up, Maria would have trouble finding things. That's exactly what happened when my mom would do it. Yeah.
ほら見て、サクタロ。ナップサック。
Maria proudly held it up high. Saktaro looked at the gaping open knapsack and shifted uneasily.
マリア、もしかして。これなら一緒にお買い物に行けるし、サクタロも怖くないよ。
Maria held Saktaro up and started stuffing him into the knapsack. At first she tried to stick him in head first, but then he'd be upside down and suffocate. So she pulled him out and tried pushing him in again, feet first. Get in the bag! Yeah.
きつい、狭い、暗い。ほら、大丈夫。頭を出せば狭くないし、暗くないから怖くないよ。景色もいいよ。ウリュウ、本当だ。これなら、マリアと一緒にお買い物に行っても大丈夫？大丈夫だよ。今日のお夕食は何がいいかな？さあさあ、お出かけしよう、サクタラ。
マリアお姉ちゃん、楽しそう。
とっても楽しい。一人だったら寂しくてつまらないことでも、サクタロが一緒なら何でも楽しい。どんな人間のお友達だって夕方になったらお家へ帰らなきゃならない。でもサクタロは帰らないし、いつまでも一緒にいてくれる。一緒にテレビも見るし、お布団の中だって一緒だし、雷が怖い夜には手だって握っていてくれる。クローゼットやベッドの下のお化けだって追っ払ってくれるんだよ。サクタロ頼もしい。ウリュウ、マリアを怖がらせるお化けは、僕、ライオンだから勇気を出して追い払っちゃうよ。ウリュウ、ガオー。
Go! They were so close that it made me a little envious. I'm supposedly older than Maria Onechan, but I can call her nothing else. Even now, she stands above me like an older sister, and I am yet to reach her level. Oh, that's so sweet. If only I had a friend close by, like Saktaro.
マリアもサクタロも、エンジェの身近なお友達だよ。いつもマリアたちは、エンジェのすぐそばにいる。でも、エンジェの魔法が弱いから、こうしてマリアの日記を開かないと知覚できないだけ。
知覚？マリアお姉ちゃんは難しい言葉を知ってるね。
According to her, this world is full of magic and spirits, as natural and nearby as a light breeze.
風って普段は気にもしないし、見えもしないけれど、お線香の煙とかがたなびくと、それを見ることができるんじゃない？
そうね。そしてそれは見えなくても普段から私たちの身近にあるものだわ。
そういうこと。マリアもサクタロもいつだってエンジェのすぐ近くで一緒なんだよ。神様や精霊、守護霊も私たちのすぐ身近にいるの。でも意識しないと存在を感じられない。目では見えない風のように。でもそれは確実に私たちの身近にあって、魔力という煙がたなびけば誰にだって見えるものなの。
I had thought that I could only meet Maria Onechan when I opened this diary. But from what she said, she was always with me, and I could meet her at any time if I truly
マリア
desired
は
to.
自分の日記に日々の記録と一緒に自分の魂のかけらを残しておいたの。だからこの日記にはマリアの魔法の力が宿ってるの。
Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets would want a word.
でもそれはとても微弱なもので、
I'm kidding.
演者以外の人には誰も感じ取れない。
私にだけはわかるの？
だって演者はマリアと同じで魔女の力を宿しているもの。演者だってちゃんとお勉強すればきっと将来立派な魔女になれるんだよ。
魔女。それは楽しいのかしら？
楽しいよ。そうすれば日記を開かなくてもマリアやサク太郎がいつも身近にいるのがわかるようになるよ。そしたら毎日がとっても楽しくなる。そしたら演者にマリアは他にもたくさんのお友達を紹介できるよ。そしたら毎日が忙しくてとっても賑やかになるよ。
それは楽しいかもしれない。マリアお姉ちゃんが残した魔導書も持ってるわ。今度真面目に読んでみるわね。そしたら私も一人ぼっちじゃなくなるかな。
Maria Onechen and Saktaro said that at the same time, happy that I had developed an interest in the world of witches. I'm still ambivalent about it. I don't know how to feel about it. We'll see where it goes. Remember when you said back in episode 2 that there's magic all around us? I said that? Remind me the context of it. I did. I probably didn't mean like in a witch kind of magic, but yeah. With half of Sakutaro's face peeking out of the knapsack on her back, Maria walked through the late-night shopping district in high spirits. It was only to be expected given the time. Everyone in the shopping district was either a shop owner lowering the shutters on their shop or an employee rushing or else staggering back home. Amidst all that, Maria, in the best of moods, as though she was hiking, probably stood out a great deal. The occasionally passing employees glanced backwards over their shoulders at her with the eyes of someone seeing something out of place. Office ladies giggled at the cute stuffed animal poking its head out of the knapsack. I think that's super cute. The supermarket had been closed for a while by this time. However, the recently popular convenience stores stayed open until late into the night. It was very convenient for Maria, whose mother's return was often later still. Convenience stores are the most amazing thing ever. Maria took the knapsack off her back and hugging it close to her chest, she headed over to the sweet buns corner. She pointed to each of the sweet buns she had eaten before, explaining to Sakutaro that this one was delicious and that one was pretty good too. Especially the ones that are open at all night, so comfy. Yeah. Yeah. They're so good. I fell in love with them. They're amazing. Like, just looking at this picture basically like kind of takes me back and places me into one of them because it's such a great depiction of one too. Yeah, Sakutaro seemed to be enjoying it.
マリアは3色パンにする。これ一つでね、あんことクリームといちごジャムが食べられるの。でもたまにウグイスあんだったり白あんだったりするの。
Convenience stores definitely live up to their name. Yeah, they do. They do.
あんこは一種類でいい。うりゅう。いろいろ入ってて面白そう。うりゅう。あとはマリアはフルーツヨーグルトにする。フルーツ入ってるけどお菓子じゃないよね。うん、きっとママも大丈夫。サクタルもどれか欲しい？うりゅう？いいの？お金は大丈夫？うん、全然平気。ほら、聖徳太子なの。
Oh.
だからサクタロにも好きなものを買ってあげられるよ。一緒に食べよう。サクタ ヨーグルト食べる？
When Maria made to grab another one of the same fruit yogurt, Sakutaro tilted his head as if he was a little
ウリ
worried.
ュウ。でも、僕、大きいのは食べられないから小さいのでいい。
I do love the fact that Maria eats exactly like every child I ever met. Yeah, I was about to think of my mom was like, oh, let a child go shop for food. They're gonna take sweet buns and yogurt and be like, but fruit yogurt. And they're gonna be like, oh, but it's yogurt, right? So it's healthy, it's fine. No, that also has a bunch of sugar in it. But yeah, it's really sweet. Literally and figuratively.
おお。じゃあ、この小さいお菓子ヨーグルトは30円だね。安い。ウリュウ。僕はそれでいい。マリアと一緒にヨーグルト。サクタロと一緒にヨーグルト。
Remember when this was a murder mystery story? No, that's so far behind me right now. I'm very zen. Enjoying some cuteness. Please allow me to. Because I know we're gonna have to get back to it eventually, and it's gonna be gruesome and heart-wrenching and all of the things. For now, we can take a breather from that. I think that's fine. Maria put the 3-flavor bun and the 2 yogurts into a shopping basket and brought them to the register. What murder? Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. The man working the register, previously in charge of the tobacco shop that had been in this spot until last year, rang.
お嬢ちゃん、この時間によく見かけるね。偉いけど、今度からこの時間のお買い物にはお母さんと一緒においでね。
ママがいいって言ったから大丈夫。ママはいつもお仕事で帰りが遅いけど、マリアたちは寂しくなんかないの。ね、サクタロウ。ウリュウ。
そっか、そりゃ大変だね。ほら、ジュースを1本おまけしてあげるよ。
Aw, what a sweet man. The man working at the store took a can of leftover soda or something from behind the register and packed it into the bag with everything else. Aww.
おじさん、ありがとう。よかったね、サクタロウ。ウリュウ。
No way, it's just 4 more episodes of the adventures of Sakutaro and Maria, yes. Since she had been told not to buy soda, she couldn't take it back home. So she decided to drink it on her way back and not bring the empty can back home. With a plastic bag with a sweet bun in it hanging from her elbow and hugging the knapsack with Sakutaro in it with that same arm, the two of them walked home drinking the soda.
柚子胡椒ソーダって微妙。サクタロウも飲んでみる？
I don't know what yuzu is. Yuzu and chili pepper soda. That sounds like a very experimental kind of taste. I would definitely try it.
ウリュウ？ウリュウ、ウリュウ、ウリュウ、ウリュウ、ウリュウ、ウリュウ。
Can't wait to read the Sakutaro adventures. Yeah. So all 5 episodes left to Sakutaro and Maria adventures always was. Yuzu is a kind of citrus. Ah, okay. Citrus. I don't even know.
ウリュウ。
But I get it.
マリア、ひどい。まじゅい。
Nasty.
だよね。
Of course, it's not like she could actually make a stuffed animal drink soda. She just put the can to Sakutaro's mouth and pretended to tilt it. But it was great fun for Maria to share the taste of this weird drink that she had gotten for free with Sakutaro. There was a huge moon in the sky. At times that moon had been clouded by tears when Lisa had stayed over at work. So I guess the soda is trying to emulate the lemon pepper flavor? Who knows? I don't know if I know the lemon pepper flavor, but definitely sounds like something I would try. Give away unsold drink to a kid. Come on. It was a nice gesture, Small Blue Gem. It was a nice gesture. And actually people in Japan are kind like that. Like I got stopped by like an older gentleman in the park who just asked us where we were from and gave us rice crackers. That's it. Then he went on his way. He really insisted that we take the rice crackers. Okay. Just randomly. People are like that. I love rice crackers, by the way. They were very good. It's probably pretty good for an adult, not so much a small kid. Yeah. I think it's just kind old man doesn't really know what kids like. It's cute. Yeah, I think it was mostly that. I wouldn't fault him for premeditating to give a kid a drink with a weird taste. He was just being kind. Japan is a very high trust society. Yeah, but like, generally speaking, people are super sweet. Like those rural stores, train stations that operate off the honor system. Oh yeah, I heard of that. Yeah. It's so nice. At times that moon had been clouded by tears when Rosa had stayed over at work, and Maria had thrown a tantrum and been scolded by her mother. But this moon was very warm, and it seemed to watch over the two of them as they enjoyed their trip home by themselves. Maria and Sakutaro. Enja watched the two of them go from behind. What a heartwarming sight. The sight of Maria One-chan and Sakutaro walking away together made it very difficult to remember the several occasions on which she had spent long nights crying because her mother hadn't come home. I couldn't admit this to Maria One-chan, but if I had been in the same position, even if I had given that stuffed animal the name Sakutaro, it wouldn't have been anything more or less than a stuffed animal. Anyone can make a relationship which only distracts you from your loneliness, but Maria One-chan was different. Sakutaro wasn't a stuffed animal or a toy. He was a real friend, and far from just distracting Maria from her loneliness, he changed the nights without her mother into a fun time where they could play all by themselves. That was so sweet. Was it because Sakutaro was a special stuffed animal? Because her mother had made it herself? Because it was very, very cute? Probably not. If there is a secret here, it doesn't lie within Sakutaro. I think it probably lies within Maria One-chan. Of course.
これがマリアお姉ちゃんの言う魔法の力なの？
I love the point here that it's not like you can give just any lonely kid a stuffed animal and it will be fine. It's a very personal thing just for Maria. Yeah. I kind of empathize with that in a lot of ways, I think. Because I too had a very strong connection to my toys and my dolls, and to me they were like an extension of my family and friends. So I sort of empathize with that. I understand where it's coming from, and that Maria also sees the way from a very sees the world from a very unique perspective that is infused and imbued with this really big heart of hers that believes in magic and assigns special meaning to her being bullied, and just like she's it's somehow okay. I don't want to upset anyone because I know you don't really like it, Bea, but somehow it connects me a little bit with Nagisa from Clannad, because it's that kind of like special connection to the world around you that not everyone has, and this ability to take something that most people would just like completely gloss over and just see like a whole universe within it, like a whole meaning and beauty and personality and greatness and strength and fun. And yeah, I guess I keep thinking since you said it, Desaline, but I really don't remember what I said at the beginning of episode 2. But I do believe that like there is, let's say, magic in the world that we create ourselves with each other or through our own way of perceiving things around us. So, hey, Squid! Squid with the Italian! How's it going? Good morning. It was very similar to what you've just said. Okay, good. Okay, then I am on board with that. Thank you for the confirmation. I could never throw anything given to me by family friends, even if it's just a small. Yeah, me too. Me too. I have so many things that I accumulated over time. Like, I have even like tiny, I don't know, like wrappers or something that just reminds me of an instance of something or whatever. And I'm like, and like, when we were moving, my boyfriend was like, well, what is this? This looks like trash. I'm just trying to be, no, that's special because it's from that situation or whatever, and it reminds me of this, and I'm keeping it here. And like, it's like, oh, okay, sorry, I'll let you deal with that part so I don't, you know, accidentally throw anything away. I am like that. I am like that. I think it goes beyond coping is how the world really is for her. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. We all have different methods of coping in marriage. Also, that you were replying to Toss Taters. Yeah, but maybe it started from there, or maybe it was catalyzed. Like it worked as the coping. It was like a catalyst for like it to happen, but. Maybe it started there or whatever, or was incentivized by the coping, but it just turned into its own kind of thing. And now it's not her simply coping, it's just how she is and how she perceives the world around her. It's been going well, learning them verb conjugations, finding the patterns and all that. Still very much a beginner, but listening to 8+ hours a day of Italian infomercials is training my ear pretty well. Hope you've been well. Oh my god, 8+ hours! Wow, that is dedication. Good job. I was exposed a little bit to Italian when I was little because there was a channel on TV that my parents would sometimes check. At the time, we didn't really have many channels that were translated in Romanian, or just like, you know, there were Romanian versions of them. So there would be like maybe some sports matches or whatever, and they were being broadcast on the Italian channel. So my parents would just leave it on. And there were also some shows there that I didn't really immediately understand what was happening there, but it looked very cool to me. So I kind of like got exposed to it, and because Italian is very similar to Romanian, I kind of managed to over time kind of understand it a little bit. Yeah, I throw it on while I'm working, all passive exposure. All right, I see, but still 8 hours, that's a lot of it. Beginner Italian once I learned it off. I don't think I can express myself in Italian, but I can understand it. I can understand it quite well, actually.
魔法を知るということは、今まですぐそばにいたのに気づけなかったたくさんの友達に気づけるということ。
Oh, that is so nice. Oh, I subscribe to that in so many ways. Oh, that's so sweet. I think coping with reality was a bit of a negative tone has a bit of a negative tone to it maybe, but for her this is reality, and I think it's like this for many people, just in different ways. Yeah, I was just saying that likely the fact that she was dealt such not a very nice deck of cards, and she has to deal with all of these situations, they probably, I would say, or maybe I'm projecting a little bit my own experience, still gonna go out on a limb and say it, they probably kind of incentivized her to introspect and to think about it more actively, and kind of like pushed her in the direction of developing this I don't know if it's a world view, but there's just this framework of seeing the world through it, much more than it would have happened naturally or instinctively. That's all I'm saying. It's kind of like it was a catalyst for her to get to this point and to develop it to such an extent. Yeah, worldview, there we go. I said it too. Projecting your own experience is actually a really good way to understand Mariam. I prefer more magical readings of these scenes, but our chat of course insists on interpreting them in a realistic way. That is fine, Bea. Like, it's okay. You can... interject your own interpretation of it. I would never discard it or diminish its meaning or anything. I'm just saying this is how I perceive it. When I read this, this is what I see. This is what I feel.
まるで新しいおもちゃ屋さんが近所にたくさんできるみたいに楽しいこと。
Yeah, it depends on what spin you want to put on the word magical, I guess. If it's really all like, you know, about the witches and everything, sure, but to me it's more of a I don't know, a more subtle thing that kind of creeps in and blends with reality, but it's something that comes from within us as humans, and the choices that we make in the way we build our internal system of values and framework of perceiving the world, and just basically every day we make a choice in how we want to see things. Right? And you could be quite jaded with life if you choose to, or you could try to see the beauty in things, and when you do it to the extent that Maria is doing it, it becomes, quite frankly, magical. Magic is magic! Ooh! Ooh. Yes. Okay, let's move on. Sorry. If I, too, locked up in an academy without a single friend, had the same kind of power as Maria One-chan, I wonder if I could make my days just a bit richer. I wonder if I would become able to honestly shed tears on the nights I feel like crying, and crack a smile when the nights are grey. I get it? No, I don't know what I get. You're only halfway through, but you're getting the themes very well. Oh, thank you, Tostaters. It feels very nice to hear you say that. Not as a pat on the back, but from the perspective of most of the time when I'm reading this novel, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I don't know anything, and especially when it comes to the murder mystery, I am so out of my depth that I just, you know, but if I'm doing at least this part right, it calms me down. Thank you. I understand the heart. Oh, I try at least. So I'm glad to hear that I'm succeeding at least a little bit. This is me better change the making. From some perspective, I finished the story last week. My heart is in shambles. Aww. Hang in there.
できるよ。エンジェはできる。だってエンジェにだって魔女になれる資格があるもん。
魔女になる資格。
マリアも魔女になれる資格あるんだよ。だからまだまだ勉強中の修行中なの。きっと素敵な魔女になってほうきでお空をかけてケーンで虹を描いて飴玉を空から降らせるの。マリアはきっとできるよ。そしたらエンジェにも見せてあげるね。きっとそれは素敵な夢の中のような光景だから。
Maria One-chan said that, making an absolute promise with her smile. There's no way we can become witches, but when I listen to her speak, I can believe that maybe we really could. Because the fact is that on this troubled night, when not a single flower of a smile could bloom, her magic had certainly given birth to a smile.
魔女になれるかな。
なれるよ。エンジェは少し年齢を重ねちゃったから魂が少し重力に惹かれちゃってる。だからマリアよりも修行は大変かもしれないけど、でもきっとなれるよ。
What did Virgilia say? True magic is bringing happiness to people. I subscribe to the statement. I don't subscribe to Virgilia saying and meaning it, because I don't think she did at this point. But yeah. I feel like also, at least what I'm kind of getting right now, and it's kind of crystallizing in my head, is that becoming witches is also, in a way, maybe, and maybe Maria also doesn't realize it because she's just a kid and like she doesn't. It's just subconscious or instinctive to her. It's not necessarily something purposeful, but it's kind of like being a witch. It's kind of like daring to have your own personal view and perception and whatever you want to call it, framework of values and system of going about life and the world that dares to be inconsistent with what society tells you it should be, and being like, fuck off, I'm gonna be here and do my own thing and believe in the things I want to believe in the way that, and see them in the way I want to see them, right? It's kind of like a straying from the crowd and doing your own thing and not caring about what the, I don't know, societal norms tell you this and that should be this and that way, and you're like, no, that's different. If I recall correctly, amazing interpretation. Oh, I don't know if that's amazing, but when I see them both together now, it's kind of crystallizing in my head that it can be something like that. Like, don't let the world weigh you down and telling you that things should be a certain way just because, I don't know how many generations before us decided that they would, you know, do things a certain way or view things a certain way. If I recall correctly, Virgilia said that the role of a witch is to bring happiness to others. Yeah, she did say things along those lines. Yes, yes. Realistically speaking, she did utter those lines. Did she mean them? What the fuck is up with everything that happened in the last episode? We don't know, because the ending kind of like blew everything into a million tiny specks of dust. So but I do subscribe to the statement that I kind of like that idea of magic, being a witch, serving a purpose in that direction, right? And not just being like, ooh, I can do anything, and since I can do anything, I'm just gonna kill people and revive them and kill them again for my own sadistic satisfaction. That I do not subscribe to at all. I believe has been a running theme for quite some time. True. Yeah, that is also true.
だってもうエンジェは魔法の一端に触れてるもの。
私が魔法を？
うん。だってほら、もうこの世にはいない私をこうして呼び出して語らっているよ。
I feel it's like to summarize it a little bit more concisely, it's like the whole world telling you that you should only be seeing shades of gray in everything around you, and you turning around and being like, nope, I'm just gonna dare to see the rainbow everywhere. Kind of like that. That's how it feels. Yeah.
これは魔法なの？
うん。
This magic and becoming a witch that they're talking about kind of is feeling, it's kind of resonating to me in that sense. Resonating to me in that sense right now in my mind.
私が日記に残した魂のかけらをエンジェは魔法で膨らませて私を蘇らせてる。さっきも言ったよね。こうして私と再会して会話ができて時に笑顔を見せられるんだから、エンジェは魔法の才能がきっとあるんだよ。マリアお姉ちゃんが保証する。
お姉ちゃんはさっき言ったわ。私は日記を開いた時にしか会えないと思ってるけど、本当はいつも身近にいるって。私に魔法の力がもっとあれば、それを見て、今こうしているように、お姉ちゃんと会話ができる？いつでも？
いつでもお話できるよ。朝のおはようの時だっていつもそばにいるし、授業中だってそばにいる。退屈な授業は私とお話しして気を紛らわせようよ。 食事の時には話し相手になれるし、お昼休みだってこれまでのようにいつも一緒にいようよ。放課後だって一緒にいるし、もちろん寮に帰ってからだって私はいつもそばにいる。日記を広げた時にしか私を見てくれないだけ。
日記を閉じても、マリアお姉ちゃんは私のそばにいてくれるんだよね。
いるよ。だからエンジが私を見ようとして、そして話そうとしてくれれば、私はきっと答えられるよ。しっかりと見て、話そうとしてくれれば。
私、やってみる。
簡単じゃないよ。いきなり上手くなんてきっといかないよ。
わかってる。きっと簡単じゃないと思う。でも私、マリアお姉ちゃんみたいになりたい。
おお、わかった。じゃあ、私をよく見て。しっかり見て。ゆっくり目を閉じたり開いたりして。いきなり長くつむっちゃダメ。私の姿を瞳に焼き付けては、それをまぶたの裏に染み込ませていくつもりで。
やってる。
まぶたを閉じても私をイメージできるようになったら、そのままゆっくり柔らかく目を閉じていて。どう？まだ私が見えている？
多分、見えてると思う。
じゃあ、一度目を開いて。いよいよ本番。心を落ち着けたら、日記を閉じて。その時一度、マリアの姿は消えてしまうかもしれない。でも焦らずに、心を落ち着けて。そして、まぶたの裏に染み込ませた私を、逆に瞳に染み込ませていくつもりで、ゆっくりと、虚空に私をイメージして、私を、虚空に見て。
大丈夫。じゃあ、閉じるね。
Slowly, I closed the diary. When I closed the diary, a grey reality filled with dull air unfolded. Of course, Maria Onechan's form disappeared. Give it all you've got. Have courage. Take the first step into the world of witches. I felt like Maria Onechan was cheering me on inside my heart. Cheering me on? Really? Isn't that just what I'd like to imagine? No, that's not it. I just convinced myself that it is, and that's why I cannot see her. Maria Onechan is always by my side, and even now she's definitely there cheering me on to do my best. And I can hear it. So I mustn't ignore it like it's my imagination or the inner voice of my own heart. Believe that Maria Onechan is there. I mustn't doubt. I believe. Onechan said she's always by my side. I must not doubt her. But as I faced that empty space, that empty black wall of the school building, amidst those almost heartlessly boring rays of sunlight, calling out her name was so much easier said than done. The chains of common sense which had clung to me until today sneered at me, telling me that calling out to the empty air was ridiculous. It was almost like being told to take a step forward off the roof of a skyscraper overlooking a sea of lights. Maria Onechan was telling me that it's alright, that I can do it. Stop thinking that you might fall, or that it would be foolish to take a step off a roof, and free yourself from those chains of common sense. I steadied my breathing. I concentrated my mind. Make the form of Maria Onechan you can see vividly on inside of your eyelids rises to the surface in the empty space before you. Understand magic and see Onechan.
Maria Onechan.
誰かいるの？
Suddenly answered by the sound of rustling bushes and a wild cry, I came to my senses. Apparently I hadn't been the only one behind the school building. No, I'd been so immersed in the world of the diary that I hadn't noticed that someone else had come afterwards. I recognized a group of 3 beyond the bushes. They were girls from my class. I felt as though they had come behind the school building to gossip about someone or talk in secret. I hurried out of that place, because if it became known that I had been alone in a place like this, mumbling to myself, it would probably create more things for me to deal with.
言ったよね。言ったよね。マリアお姉ちゃんとか言ったよね。
Brought back to the everyday in the worst way possible. Yeah, Jesus.
やばくない？心霊とか見えちゃってんじゃないの？後ろ宮さんって面白い。
Ooh. Oh no, that's never a good sign. I don't like that witch laughter. I could hear the shrill, loud laughter from behind. Irritated and feeling that Maria Onechan had been made fun of, I left that place at a quick pace and then a half run once I turned to the corner. And I might have made it to Onechan's world with just a little more time. Frustrating, aggravating. Why does everyone get in my way? I've never gotten in their way, not even once. I ran and ran, but it still felt as though I could hear their shrill laughs. Oof. A good place to stop. Part is very important philosophical.
噂じゃ、エンジェちゃん。
Oh. I don't know. Because we're only 2 hours in. I would still have half an hour to go. Would it really... Like, and people are excited, so I don't know. Would it really be that bad to jump into it a little bit?
あんた、ビルのてっぺんから飛び降りたんだって？
Okay.
追っかけがうざかったんで、ちょっと巻こうと思って。
NJ and an old gentleman wearing an expensive suit were alone in a massive modern conference room. Alright. Okay. Okay, let's try to go a bit longer because yeah, otherwise it's kind of short. Did I read the whole thing? Sorry. NJ and an old gentleman wearing an expensive suit were alone in a massive modern conference room. The conference room was equipped with all the latest equipment for presentations, while keeping intact a refined and composed atmosphere. That alone was enough to make abundantly clear the worth of the corporation that was its owner. However, NJ couldn't have cared less. Looking aloof from the world, she sat slovenly in one of the high-class chairs for executives with salaries probably north of 20 million yen.
下の方の階で改装工事してて、転落防止ネットがあるの知ってましたし。
And she dismissed it with an offhand comment, but in reality, it had been a miracle among miracles. She had shot through several layers of safety netting for the remodeling project, been caught by a multicolored banner adorning the atrium, slid down and off it, been softly caught by a final banner, landed on the ground without a scratch, and then left that place at a brisk walk. It put Hong Kong movies to shame. This fellow is the only character that is present in all games. Okay. Yeah. Oh wow, that it really is a marathon. Oh wow. Ah, that's the WTC thing. I was like, wait, okay. But I gathered that you meant his games. Okay.
いくらネットがあるの知ってたったって、高さ200メートルの超高層だよ。もしも思い通りにならなかったら、今頃大変なことになってただろうよ。
死んだら死んだで、それまでってことでもいいかなって思いまして。
He's weird as hell. He's basically the same character in all When They Cry games, but also not really. It's hard to explain. Okay.
まあちょっとした運試しです。若気の至りってことで。
Angel shrugged coldly as though saying that she'd had enough of that topic. At this, the old gentleman, who was looking at the world below through the window, burst into laughter.
運試しときたか。いやはや、やっぱり金蔵さんのお孫さんだね。うんぷてんぷ。天の流れに命を預けてもケロリとしてるその度胸。
He knows Kinzo.
会長も博打に平気で命を懸けられる人だったが、これも後ろ宮の血なのかね。やっぱりあんた将来大物になるよ。悪いことは言わない。家出ごっこはこの辺で切り上げて須磨寺の家に戻ったらどうだい。
お母さん、実家と仲が悪かったって聞いてます。お葬式で初対面の人の家になんて行きたくないです。
The Sumatera family is my mom's family. It's a bit of an old family from Kyoto and unbelievably strict in a way you could never have imagined from the frank way Mom acted. Okay, so the grass is not necessarily greener. Alright. The only person in the Sumatera family I had been on good terms with was Grandpa, who was living separately under the guise of retirement. Mom too kept up contact only with Grandpa, and had nothing to do with the rest of the family at all, nor they with her, to an ugly degree. Even for me, Grandpa's house was the only part of the Sumadera family I ever went to visit. Being young, I hadn't really understood it at the time, but I hear that Grandpa, as a man who married into his wife's family, was in an extremely weak position, and his relationship with Grandma was also bad. In fact, maybe you could even have said that he was hated by Grandma and confined to the house. It isn't hard to imagine that because she had a soft spot for Grandpa alone, Mom was probably also hated by the Sumadera family. As her daughter, I was probably also hated quite a bit. And yet they had appeared for the first time at my parents' funeral, shamelessly going on about how I'd grown, like they could actually act like family after all this time. After Aunt Eva died, oh, okay. All of the wealth of the Ushiromiya family was inherited by me. If they weren't after that, there's no way they'd have been able to say such disgusting words.
まあ、一人ぼっちになっちまって、自暴自棄になりたいエンジェちゃんの気持ちもわからなくもないな。
自暴自棄とかじゃないです。こううるさいエヴァおばさんもやっとくたばったんで、久しぶりにのびのびと散歩してるだけじゃないですか。周りが大げさに騒ぎすぎなだけです。
They're all just after the vast Ushiromiya wealth I'm shouldered with anyway. They must think if they become my guardians, they'll be able to do whatever they please with the wealth. Just how many people have tried to act like a substitute parent and get close to me?
エンジェちゃんも辛いことがあったら、俺でよかったらいつでも相談してな。エンジェちゃんのこと、実の孫みたいに思ってるんだからさ。
はぁ。当面はノーサンキューということで。それより、話を戻してください。
エンジェちゃん、何度聞かれたって、俺が隠してることは何もないよ。あの日の六軒島の唯一の生き残りが会長なんだ。その会長が何も語らずに言っちまった。俺だって何もわからないよ。すべては闇の中だ。
The old gentleman was one of a number of corporate heavyweights who, after Eva had passed away, had been entrusted with the business group she had built up. The one he referred to as the chairman, technically the former chairwoman, was Ushiromiya Eva. Yeah, I picked up as much. His company had once had a friendly relationship with Hideyoshi's company. and he had been a close friend of both Hideyoshi and Eva. For that reason, after Eva lost Hideyoshi, he had become the only person to whom she could reveal her true thoughts. When Eva's heart had been torn by the loss of her family, and she had taken it out on Enje, he had also acted as a buffer between the two, so although Enje didn't trust him, she too found him as an easy person to pay a visit.
あの事件は、いや、事故か。事件なんて言っちまったら怒られちまうな。そりゃ俺も世間やワイドショーと同じ程度の疑問は持ったさ。
どうしてエヴァおばさんは事故当時、屋敷から2キロも離れたところにたった一人で、それも嵐の晩に。
当時、金蔵さんは次の跡継ぎに誰を選ぶかで迷われていた。表向きは長男のクラウスさんってことになってたんだが、クラウスさんはあまり信頼されていなかったんだ。
それで親兄弟4人の中から公平に跡継ぎを決めるため、碑文の謎というゲームじみた試練を課した。
それは表向きだな。おそらく金蔵さんは初めからエヴァさんを当主跡継ぎにするつもりだったんだ。長男が跡継ぎだという自らのルールを撤回してでも、クラウスさんと違い非常に勤勉で優秀だったエヴァさんに家を任せたかったんだ。碑文の謎を解いた者に家督を引き継ぐなどという新ルールは、クラウスさんから次期当主の肩書きを奪うためだけの茶番だったんだろうな。
茶番って？
あの碑文は誰にも解ける必要はなかったのさ。
I mean, don't say that. We've seen people die 3 times all over over and over again for the sake of that epitaph.
適当に刑事期間を経た後、本当に金蔵さんが後を継がせたかったエヴァさんを呼び出し、その答えを与えるだけでいい。つまり、それこそが当主継承の証ってわけさ。
それはワイドショーでは言われていない話ですね。
まあ、当主継承がうんぬんなんて話をしたら、余計陰謀説が優勢になっちゃうからね。俺もバカじゃないからさ、誤解を招くようなことはわざわざ口にしないよ。
The way he told it went like this. At the time, the head of the Ushiromiya family, Kenzo, diagnosed with little time left to live, was troubled over the problem of who was to succeed him. Normally, the successor would be fixed as the oldest son, Kraus, as laid out by Kinzo himself. But in his later years, Kinzo began to think that Eva was more fitting to be head. However, Kinzo, stubborn even to himself and obstructed by the title of successor that he had given to Kraus, searched for an official stance by which he could skip over Kraus and selected Eva as his successor. That official stance was the riddle of the epitaph. The primary successor was still Kraus, but there was a new rule saying that if someone appeared who could solve the riddle, they would be chosen as the successor to the head. And on the day of what would probably be his final family conference, Kinzo had told Eva the answer to that riddle himself. In short, it was the same as proclaiming that Eva was the successor.
エヴァさんはあの日、金蔵さんに呼ばれ、それを打ち明けられたんだ。そして、当主を引き継ぐため、当主だけが知る隠し館である、クワドリアンにエヴァさんを呼びつけたのだ。
で、一足早くその隠し館で待っていたエヴァおばさんは、そのおかげで事故の難を逃れた。エヴァおばさんが全ての財産を奪うために、事故を装ってみんなを殺し、自分だけ難を逃れただけかもしれない。
大衆紙はそう騒いでるな。だが、俺はエヴァさんを信じてるよ。信ずるに足るポイントがいくつかあると思ってる。
例えば？
今エンジェちゃんが指に通してるその後ろ宮家当主の指輪だよ。その指輪は金蔵さんが特別に作らせた世界に一つしかない指輪だ。そして今、エンジェちゃんが指にしているものは間違いなくそれだと作った細工師も認めてる。
The Ushiromiya family head's ring. That ring, with the heft of gold and the one-winged crest on it, had diamonds adorning the pedestal and possessed both stateliness and a sense of gaudy extravagance. I'm saying it right. Kinzo had worn that on his finger, never removing it even for a moment. The fact that Eva had it was apparently proof that Kinzo had acknowledged her as the successor to the head.
その指輪を確かにエヴァさんが持つからこそ、そして実際にエヴァさんが優秀で、クラウスさんにはビジネスシーンでの数々の醜態が知られていたことを加味すると、エヴァさんの話は全くの作り話とは思えないんだ。
その指輪を奪うためにおじいさまを殺害した可能性だってあるけれど、そしてエヴァおばさんは何らかの細工をして事故に見せかけて一族を皆殺しにした。
そうだな。大衆氏は財産の独り占めが目当てで一族を皆殺しにしたなんて言ってるようだな。確かにエヴァさんはここ一番では随分思い切ったこともしちゃう人だよ。あるいは後宮家の財産を独り占めできるチャンスに生涯でただ一度の殺人を犯したかもしれない。だがね、俺はそうは思わない。
そう信ずるに足るポイントの2つ目は、
エヴァさんのご家族だよ。秀吉さんにジョージ君、エンジェちゃんはにわかには信じがたいだろうけど、エヴァさんはあれでかなり家族を大事にする人だったんだ。
Yeah, that's one question mark I have as well. And how does it connect? He was right. I found it very hard to believe that or admit it. But deep inside I knew. Aunt Eva really had been a person who treasured her family greatly. The root of her twisted personality had been nothing more than the sadness of losing her beloved husband and son. Having been used as an outlet for all that emotion, I had no feelings of sympathy for her at all. But even so, it's not like I couldn't imagine that losing her entire family had dealt her an incredibly shock sufficient to transform her personality.
家族を愛したエヴァおばさんが夫と息子を見捨てるわけがないと？
そうだ。もし本当にエヴァさんが犯人で、一族を事故に見せかけて皆殺しにしたならば、夫と息子が絶対に生き残ってるはずなんだ。偶然、自分の家族だけが隠し館にいたとへりくつをこねてね。もし秀吉さんとジョージ君も無事だったなら、さすがの俺でもエヴァさんの陰謀を疑ったろうよ。俺は、秀吉さんの葬儀で見せたエヴァさんのあの号泣を演技だなんて到底思えんね。
はあ、どっちも状況証拠的ですね。エヴァおばさんの潔白を物理的に示すには至らない。
それを言っちゃおしまいだよ。生き残ったのはエヴァさんのみ。その彼女が、それが真実だと言うんだからさ。
でも、彼女の潔白は誰にも証明できない。
ああ、そうさ。そして彼女の犯行も誰にも証明できない。そして、信ずるべきポイントの最後が警察だ。
Also, the way it works is that you don't prove your innocence, but others have to prove that you committed the crime. That's how it should be.
何しろ派手な事件だったからね。陰謀説を騒ぐ世論に後押しされて、警察が随分とエヴァさんを調べたはずさ。
It's easy to feel something unnatural about the claim that Eva had escaped the accident by coincidence, because she and she alone had escaped to a hidden mansion. Furthermore, at the time, Hideyoshi's company had been right in the middle of a takeover struggle. It had wanted a large sum of cash in order to buy off the big stockholders. It shouldn't be too hard to find a motive there. But as a matter of fact, en route to the family conference, Eva's person had been perfectly clean. Nothing unnatural was found on her that could have been used to brutally murder her family and made it look like an accident. The servants who escaped harm by being off duty on that day also stated that they hadn't seen anything strange regarding anyone related to the event, Eva included. Putting all of that together, it could only be concluded that Ushiromiya Eva had headed to Rockinjima for a normal family conference, no different than from usual, and became involved in an accident.
警察があれだけ散々調べて事件性を見出すことができ
They
な
keep
かった。
calling it the accident, the accident. What kind of accident just wipes out an entire family? It must be one hell of a freaking accident.
警察がそう断じた。それで六軒島疑惑は決着じゃないのかな。
それは単に警察は事件性を発見できなかったってだけの話じゃないんですか？
I love how like Chad has been silent for the entirety of the scene, and then suddenly, yeah, great question. What did it be like? I don't know, guys. It's just they keep referring it. Oh, there was an accident, an accident. What accident? Did like the mansion explode and like it turned everyone to ash, or like what accident? It's another piece of food for thought, yeah, but I don't know if it could lead me anywhere other than just down the lane and rabbit hole actually of speculation, because the novel is not really giving me much to work with, but okay.
それを言い出したらキリがないな。
Go that food poisoning accident. If we were to go down that lane, I would I would go with Kumasawa's mackerel being fished out of like a bad batch or a bad spot. Yeah, I guess. Mackerel accident, yes. uh...
悪魔の証明になっちまうよ。
Ah. Why is he invoking a devil's proof? I'm getting a sudden like sense of rejection of like, okay, what's happening? Why are they also talking about this? Yeah. God, I didn't cook his chicken too. 65 Fahrenheit, everyone got salmonella. Salmonella? No? I don't know how to pronounce it. In Romanian it's salmonella. There you go. Make of it what you will. In English it's probably a bit different.
「犯罪を暴くには証拠を見つければいい」。でも無実を示すには何を見つけりゃいいんだい？
That is true. These last two sentences, they are true because that's what technically or in theory the justice system should be based off on. Like, you need to prove that someone committed the crime. It's not enough to just accuse them and then that person has to prove their innocence. Of course, they can also make a case if like you have an alibi or something or whatever, sure. But generally the idea is that if you want to point at someone and say they did something, the burden is on you to provide the proof for that. That I agree with. I do not like the invocation of a devil's proof, so I'm suddenly getting like very defensive against this guy.
消極的事実の証明は
It's the
不
same
可
in
能だ。
English? Okay, thank you.
エヴァおばさんが犯罪を犯したか否か、それを判断する材料が見つからないから、そのまま真相は迷宮入りと。
そうだな。エンジェちゃんの期待する言い方にするとそうなるな。エヴァさん自身にだって自分の無実は証明不能なのさ。あの島で不幸な事故があった。そしてたまたまエヴァさんが生き残った。しかもそれ以上のことは何もわからない。つまるところ、唯一の生存者であるエヴァさんの話を信じられるか否か。俺は信じたよ。指輪の話や彼女の尊敬できる家族愛、そして葬儀で見せた涙、それらを加味して考えて彼女の話を信じようと思ったんだ。
でも私は信じない。指輪なんて奪う気なら方法はいくらでもあるだろうし、家族仲が本当に良かったかなんて誰にもわからない。葬儀の涙が本物かなんて証明不能。というか私はそもそもエヴァおばさんなんて大嫌い。だから私は彼女の話を信じようなんて思わない。
事件の真相をどう見るか。俺とエンジェちゃんで真っ向から対立しちまったな。俺たちに与えられてる情報は全く同じなのに、全く異なる見解も持っちまう。こういうこと、政治や経済でもよくあるんだ。同じ事業をやっても必ず評価は分かれちまう。どうしてかわかるかい？
いいえ。
愛があるかどうかさ。
There it is.
相手に愛を感じてるかどうかで、物の見え方は全く違うってことなんだ。好きな人が貧しい人に施しをすれ
Who
ば
is this guy?
尊敬できるだろう。
Fuck.
でも嫌いな奴が施しなんて始めたら、売名行為だとか、ばらまき行政だとか、非難合々さ。何をしてもしなくても、愛があれば感謝し、愛がなければ非難する。それが世の中ってもんなんだ。
エヴァおばさんのことを信じられるか信じられないか、それだけの違いってことですか？
彼女を疑う人間には、彼女が何をしてもしなくても、それは実に不自然に見えるだろうさ。逆もしかり。俺はね、世の中には真実なんてものは、よっぽどのことがない限り、存在しないんじゃないかと思うね。
And there's yet another theme of the novel. What is truth? Yet another rabbit hole.
いや、仮にもし、真実が存在したとしても、それを信じるか信じないかは、愛があるか否かで決められちまう。
Aye, aye. We are indeed, aren't we? Yeah.
絶対性の宿らない真実なんて、真実と
Hope
呼べるの
you're
かい？
holding on very tightly to your life rings because you might need those. Can you really call it truth if it isn't absolute?
エヴァさんが物理的なアリバイを示したとしても、君はそれを信じられたかい？
He has a point. I hate Aunt Eva, so I'll probably deny all information beneficial to her and maliciously interpret all neutral information. In other words, assign myself the truth is already decided. And yet I'm still unsatisfied, still searching for the truth. So what exactly is this truth I'm searching for? Very good question.
そういうことさ。
Without love, it cannot be seen. Yeah, indeed.
つまり、俺から何を聞こうとも、エンジェちゃんがエヴァさんを未だ疑っている以上、何を聞いても今更何も変わらないってことなのさ。少なくとも、今のエンジェちゃんじゃ、仮に未知の新事実を掴んだとしても、真相に至ることはできんと思うね。
私では真相に至れ。
だって、エンジェちゃんは、どんな新情報や新証拠が見つかったって、エヴァさんが犯人だってスタンスは変えないんだろ？ならこれ以上何を調べたって意味はないじゃないか。
Random anime man giving a lecture on empathy. Yes, but what is it? Yeah. Heavy questions.
君の中の真相はすでに決まっているわけさ。だがもし、エンジェちゃんがそれを真相と思わずに、さらに奥深くの本当の真相にたどり着きたいと願うなら、もう話したつもりなんだけどな。なんだかわかるかい？
愛ですか？よく意味がわからないです。
エンジェちゃんは今、エヴァさんを犯人だと仮定し、ものを考えている。でもそれじゃあ片目でものを見てるようなものなんだ。片目じゃ、どんなに目を凝らしても、ものを立体的に見ることはできないだろ？だから、もう一つ目がいるんだ。もちろん、今の目とは別の立場での。
エヴァおばさんが犯人ではない。あるいは、本当に事故であるという仮定にも基づいて。
そうそう、その通り。物事を考えるときには、 異なる立ち位置から見るようにするんだ。そうじゃないと、本当のことは何もわからない。新聞だってそうさ。一つの新聞だけじゃ、その記事を書いた記者の目線一つでしかものが見られない。複数の新聞を読むことで初めて立体的かつ冷静に分析ができることもある。愛がなければ真実は見えない。
I guess it is the truth.
いいね。
There he is. He said the thing he did. Yes, he did. Maybe he found it amusing that the cheesy phrase like that had popped out of his mouth. For a while, he laughed, looking pleased. By that, he was simultaneously declaring that he had told everything that he knew, and that it was about time for me to leave. Understanding that, I got to my feet.
俺にもエンジェちゃんの気持ちが分かったよ。あんたが納得するようにしばらく好きにしたらいい。当時、君は6歳だった。わけがわからないうちに家族を失い、未だに心の整理がつかない気持ち、よくわかるんだ。真相はわかるかもしれない、わからないかもしれない。エヴァさんは犯人かもしれないし、犠牲者かもしれない。エンジェちゃんが信じる真実が見つけられるのを祈ってるよ。
Easier said than done, my friend.
若いうちの旅も貴重な経験かもしれない。
ありがとうございます。お忙しいところ、お邪魔して本当にすみませんでした。お好みさん。
いいっていいって。これからどうするんだ？
まあ適当に。事件関係者やその道の専門家ってやつに何人かアポを入れてるので、そちらを当たるつもりです。
そうか。納得のいく答えが見つかるといいな。
Alright. I think maybe the end of this conversation is a good point to save. What do you say? We're 2 hours and a half in, it's perfect. We read the profiles and then we save. What do you say? Let's see. Yeah, okay. Great. Awesome. Alright, Eva, she be dead. She's in red. Ah, so we have an Enja side now. Ooh, okay, I see. After being repeatedly hospitalized from psychogenic stress, she is already dead in the world of 1998 due to acute heart failure. The only survivor from Rokkenjima, she lived her later years in isolation with no one to understand her. The media gave her the name Queen of Suspicion. She continued on a path of reckless expansion like Kinzo had done in the past and made many enemies. This is a great point. Okonogi even said the thing. Yes, he did. Alright, Okonogi Tetsuro. Okay. A major player in the Ushiromiya group. After Eva's death and until Enja succeeds the group, he and the other ministers are the ones managing it. However, since Enja has no desire to do so, the group is on the brink of internal discord, putting him in a difficult position as well. He was previously the president of a foodstuff distribution company and had a very close relationship with Hideyoshi's company. Alright. And then we have Enje in her lovely, lovely full attire. Very nice. Cosplay material there. Threw herself off the top of a skyscraper and miraculously survived unharmed. Her mystical experience led her to abandon everything and go on a personal journey to discover her past. Will she, positioned 12 years in the future, be able to break through Beatrice's magical power? Ooh. Tune in next week to find out. Alright. Great. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. We managed to get to a good point. I'm happy about that. Because to be honest, it does make me a little bit sad if I have to cut my time with you short, because I look forward to it. It makes me very, very, very happy to spend these 2 hours and a half in your lovely, lovely company and have these amazing chats like we did tonight. Okonogi randomly appearing and dropping some wisdom will always be memorable for me, especially considering his much different role in Higurashi. Okay. Okay. I have nothing to go on because I don't know the context of anything else other than Umineko, so I will take you at your word for that. Interesting. It must be very cool when there's like crossover between stories in like the same, not necessarily, I don't know if they're in the same, are they in the same universe considered, but you know, when there's crossover between stories of the same author, especially if you're a big fan and like you have these like they kind of like amazing Easter eggs, I guess. They have extra layers of weight and significance to you. His voice is yeah, he does have a great voice actor. Okonogi such a chat here. Oh, experiencing Umineko, that is super fun. Yeah, definitely. It wouldn't be the same without you. So, without you all. So I very much appreciate you tuning in and chatting. Kind of, but also kind of not. Rikishi is ambiguous about it on purpose because he wants people to enjoy Umineko for what it is. Yeah, I guess so. It's just that when you know the character already from somewhere else, you can't like detach your mind and unknow that character. It will come with a deeper meaning to, like, probably Chidorin is attached to Burn Castle, and her appearing in Umineko feels different to Chidorin than to me, you know, because I had no context of Burn Castle before. So there are fun references and stuff like that, but 99% of Umineko can be understood perfectly well without knowing anything else. Yes, I don't disagree with that. That's what I also have been told, and I am going off of it. It's just extra, you know, like you said, fun reference and stuff like that for the people who are in the know. To be fair, my love for Burn came a bit deeper into Umi. Okay, very nice. All right, yeah, almost midnight for me, so I will say goodnight. This was incredibly fun, and I love diving into those types of chats like we did in the beginning of the stream. Maybe they're a little bit, I don't know how they're perceived. Hope they're not too distracting from the story, but I live for them. I'm very happy to have the opportunity to have them, so I will take the chance when it happens. Just be aware. Yeah, we will probably go into the 3 digits with this story, maybe until we finish it if we keep going in this direction, but I will enjoy every second of it, and I have no regrets. Higurashi's Okonogi was nothing special, so going from Umineko's to Higurashi's was disappointing for me. Oh, I see. Without love, it cannot be seen. I'm sure we will have that love necessary for it. Aww. I'm sure we will have it together. I don't know about myself, so we'll see. It's a very awkward spot for me to make any sort of predictions about absolutely anything, because it's Umineko. It's gonna throw you curveballs from all directions. So I'm just rolling with it. My Umineko playthrough took me 130 hours, so if it takes you around 210, that's all good. All right. I guess you take the number of streams you've done, which is 32, and multiply it by 2.5, and that's the number of hours. So where are we? What is the actual? Yeah. More or less 80. I was wondering if we were at 80. You were going towards 80, so... Oi. Yeah. Right. Curious to see where this goes. Thank you for the heads up, actually, Bad, that Inja's life will be told through like these, like, I don't know, they're not even flashbacks, flash forwards, whatever you want to call them, like excerpts of her life are gonna be inserted from like all types of moments in the time frame. But at the very least, they're like prefaced, but like, okay, this is happening here in this moment in time. So like, I have like an anchor of, okay, it's this year at least, right? So that helps, and I'm not that confused. So I'm pretty sure it will go right. I've seen at least 2 people who rage quit this episode and took a break from it for a few days. I mean, if it's gonna be emotionally heavy, I can see why. I don't get that luxury though. I will stick through it, given, you know, the schedule of the streams and the fact that I don't want to postpone it. I just want to, you know, get through the story. I will not take that kind of luxury. Aside from, you know, regular breaks that can happen, for instance, if I'm out of town or if there's holidays and stuff like that. And Just Life from St. Lucia, 1998, and some others. What is this connected to? The fact that, like, I was mentioning that her life is being told like in excerpts here and there or scattered across time. Yeah, that's okay. I didn't feel confused tonight. So far so good. So far so good. Alrighty. Thank you so much again for joining. I'm having a blast, and yeah, we'll continue to be here next week as well, according to regular schedule on Tuesday and Thursday, same time. If you manage to have the time to pass by, I'll see you then. Otherwise, the pods are there and the door is always open. My streams are always just like an open invitation. If you can come by and chill, it's great. If not, that's also absolutely fine. I appreciate you all. I love you. Take care. Have a lovely, lovely weekend, and see you Tuesday. Bye bye.